Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see.
Wow, Ryan, you're so cheerful today.
Well, Pamela, one of my New Year's resolutions is to spread happiness.
Blue Skies by Irving Berlin is the perfect song to do that. Plus, it just entered public domain.
My other resolution is to tell the truth, and I don't really know what public domain is.
Well, let's find out today. I'm Pamela Kirkland.
And I'm Ryan Willard. It's Wednesday, January 11th, 2023.
This is the 10 News.
10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4, 3, 2,
1.
Public Domain Day was January 1st, but what is public domain?
I think it's time for the 10 News Explains. When a creative material, like a song, book, movie, or cartoon character, is in the public domain, it's owned by the public. No one person or company owns the rights anymore. So the material is not copyrighted, trademarked, or protected by a patent.
So that means anyone can use this song, book, movie, or cartoon character for any purpose, right?
Right. They can record a public domain song, or publish copies of a public domain book, or sell t-shirts with a public domain cartoon character on it.
Didn't one really big character enter the public domain this year?
Yes. Well, sort of. Winnie the Pooh is now in the public domain, but only the Pooh from A.A. Milne's books, illustrated by E.H. Shepard. That Pooh Bear doesn't wear a red shirt, and his face looks a little different than Disney's Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, bother.
But why is only the oldest Winnie the Pooh public domain?
Because in the US, books enter public domain 70 years after the author has died. But the amount of time things are copyrighted is different for every kind of creative work. And each country has its own laws, so it can get kind of confusing.
help?
Disney actually lobbied Congress to extend copyright laws so that their characters are protected by copyright for longer than usual.
Whoa, what? But I heard Mickey Mouse is also entering the public domain.
Yep. In 2024, Mickey Mouse will enter public domain, but only the Mickey from the animated short film Steamboat Willie. That's because of the way copyright law works in the US. And Disney played a role in how copyright law works.
Oh, boy.
So becoming part of public domain means a piece of art, music, or film belongs to everyone. But why does that matter?
There are so many benefits to public domain. Free access to books makes education affordable. Every law the US government makes is public domain, so all citizens can see exactly what our government is doing. Important cultural art like films and music can be preserved for future generations. Plus, public domain inspires new art. The story of Pinocchio, originally by Carlo Collodi, is in the public domain, and there are 2 different film versions coming out this year. Public domain allows artists to build on the stories and art of the past.
You will always be my real boy.
Wow, so I could make a movie version of Pinocchio based on the original story?
You sure could.
Okay, but in my version, Pinocchio is going to be a cyborg brought to life by a meteorite, and Geppetto is going to be a secret agent, and Jiminy Cricket is going to be a cockroach. Well, maybe a cricket. But he'll have superpowers.
That's, very creative. Tenors, let us know what public domain stories or characters you would make movies or write books about. Visit the10news.com/contact to leave us a voice note.
Hey Tenors, we at the 10 News are so excited because International Lego Day is coming up on January 28th, and we are planning a celebration. We want to know, what do you want to build? Or do you have any ideas you want Lego to hear about? Or what sets do you want them to make next? Send us your ideas. We want your big Lego questions. International Lego Day is nearly here, so visit the10news.com/contact and we might give you a shout out in our Lego special on January 25th. We're back from break, and there was a big news story while we were away.
Even if you weren't watching Monday Night Football last week, you've probably heard by now the tragedy that happened during the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. 24-year-old Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin collapsed after tackling another player. His heart actually stopped for some time, and it was a scary moment for everyone on the field and everyone watching at home. But the medical staff on site was able to restore his heartbeat while he was still lying on the field. He was then rushed to the hospital for further treatment. It's still not clear whether Hamlin's injury is the result of a pre-existing medical condition or a collision that caused his heart to stop beating after impact, a condition called commotio cordis. Medical teams are always present during professional and even college sports. When something like this happens or a player is injured, they can jump into action immediately. In this case, the medical team is being credited with saving Damar Hamlin's life because they were able to act so quickly. The assistant athletic trainer for the Bills administered CPR to Hamlin almost immediately. That was critical to saving his life. Doctors said if he had even waited a few extra seconds, the results could have been much different. Hamlin was taken to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center's intensive care unit and put into what's called a medically induced coma. Think of it like hitting the pause button on your Apple TV. When a person suffers an injury as bad as Hamlin's, there's a concern that there might be damage to his brain. To try and stop more damage from happening, doctors can put your body in a hibernation state to allow time for the brain to recover. On Thursday, we got news that Hamlin was awake and recovering. Doctors say he actually woke up and wrote them a question. Who won the game? They explained what had happened to him, and he was surprised to learn that he'd been asleep for 2.5 days. He has a long road to recovery, but the improvements he's made over the past couple of days continue to give his fans and family hope.
You can do it!
And out of tragedy, an outpouring of support. In 2020, Hamlin set up a GoFundMe page sponsored by his foundation, the EMS Foundation. Hamlin's charity raises funds for toys for children hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The fundraising goal was $2,500. But after Hamlin's injury, donations poured in, and they've raised more than $7 million. More than 200,000 donations have been submitted.
Awesome!
So is football dangerous? Could this happen again?
Well, what happened last week has brought up a lot of questions about how safe sports like football really are for professionals and for kids. The New York Times reported the NFL saw 187 concussions in the 2021 season. There have been new rules that better protect players' health and safety in the last year, but the game is still seen as being hard to make less dangerous. It's important for anyone playing football to wear their helmet and protective gear. And keep in mind that for an athlete to have an injury like this one is very, very rare.
And that getting trained in CPR and first aid is a great idea. You can end up saving someone's life.
Welcome to the trivia room.
First trivia of the new year? Sign me up, please.
Ryan, get in here and hop on the trivia throne for today's trivia question. You ready?
Absolutely.
What is going on here?
Trivia on the 10.
Winnie the Pooh is now in the public domain. The characters that live in the 100 Acre Wood are all inspired by stuffed animals author A.A. Milne's real son Christopher Robin played with. But do you know where those stuffed animals live now? Is it A, London Zoo, B, the New York Public Library, or C, Buckingham Palace? Tenors, did you guess it? Ryan, what's your answer?
Okay, well, I've been to the New York Public Library, and I definitely did not see any stuffed animals, so I'm going to guess A, the London Zoo.
The answer is B. The New York Public Library has been the home of Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, Eeyore, and Kanga since 1987. Unfortunately, Christopher Robin lost Roo in an apple orchard sometime in the 1930s.
Bummer.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe they're in New York. I gotta go see them.
Me too. Thinking of them all together reminds me of the line from The House at Pooh Corner. So they went off together, but wherever they go, and whatever happens to them on the way, in that enchanted place on the top of the forest, a little boy and his bear will always be playing.
I'm not crying, you're crying. And now we're going to give some special 10 News snaps to one of our listeners.
But before we do, here's a quick note for the grown-ups.
Time for the 10 News snaps.
Tenor, I'm the awesome kid, wrote this review of the 10 News. Oh my dog. Best podcast ever. So good. Ryan is so funny and Pamela is such a good host. Why, thank you.
Thanks, I'm the awesome kid, and thanks for listening to the 10 News. 10 Things You Need to Know drops every Tuesday, and our in-depth reports drop every Wednesday. But if you want some bonus content, you can join the Tenors Club on our website or on Apple Podcasts. Check out the website or our channel on Apple to learn more.
The 10 News is a co-production of Small But Mighty Media and Next Chapter Podcasts.
The 10 News creative team is auditioning for Ryan's Pinocchio film and includes Tracy Crooks, Pete Musto, and Tessa Flannery.
Our production director is Jeremiah Tittle, and our executive producers are Donald Albright and show creator Tracy Leeds Kaplan.
I'm Ryan Willard.
And I'm Pamela Kirkland. Thanks for listening to the 10 News. Hey, does anyone know when Beyoncé enters public domain?